There are two words that I hate more than anything in the world. And they aren't swear words. Heck, my third word was a fantastically fun little F word. But the two words that I hate the most are I'm sorry. I would rather literally no one ever said them to me. Now, honestly, I hear them usually in the context of a middle school. So kids are just like, oh, running in the hall, hey, stop that, oh, I'm sorry. And it's just this casual, meaningless, dead word. My 8th grade teacher used to have a graveyard of dead words that she kept on a bulletin board. And I'm not sure why I'm sorry wasn't on there. Because they're completely and entirely meaningless. I would rather people not ever approach me with those words and do something different. So if you're going to come at me with, I'm sorry, if you truly are sorry, stop telling me about it and do something different. That's just the personal way that I feel. I really want to see the change, because I think if you are genuinely sorry, then a change in behavior has to be made, whether you are a child or an adult. If you have done something wrong, fix it. It involves an action. For my students, if they're, talking out of turn, or they're running down the hallway, or they're throwing spitballs, or they're making inappropriate jokes, don't apologize, just change the behavior. Even the adults in my life, that kind of thing works. And I think when you start making those changes, not only do you make yourself a better human being, but you show your authenticity to the person that you are sorry to. People, especially now when words are so misused, and honestly, words are used to just draw people in and get attention, there's not a ton of meaning behind them in our daily lives. So I think that people really want to see what you're going to do about it. And people will judge you by your actions. Not even just in an apologizing situation, but all of our actions mean way more than words could ever mean. However you want people to view you, whatever it is that you want to be in your life, you have to do it. You have to take a risk and do a thing. You can't say, I'm a photographer, if you never take a picture. Because words are just empty. And they can be changed and they can be manipulated, especially when we're posting them in social media, especially in the news, especially just everywhere. We talk too much. We write too much. We need to start defining ourselves by the things we choose to do. That's not always easy. It's really not always easy. There are times where there is a goal or an aspiration that we want to get to, but we can't always do the actions needed to get to that goal. Sometimes there are things in the way. Sometimes ourselves are in the way. So we have to find a workaround. I hear a lot of students, mostly, but I also hear adults saying, I really want to be a great musician. Okay. Do you practice? Nah. Do you listen to music? Nah. How are you interacting with music in such a way that's going to make you a great musician? There's a lot of adults in my life who say, I wish I would have played an instrument. Okay. Go get an instrument. You can get them super cheap. I wouldn't advise getting those super cheap ones. I know a great little music shop here in Orlando, Florida, if you need to go pick up a used instrument. But do it. And if there's this thing We have strayed so far from apologies right now, but here's where I am. If you have this thing on your heart that you have always wanted to do, what is the harm and what is the risk in just trying to do it? Now, obviously, we're talking about the positive things in life. We are not talking about going to rob a bank. Maybe you've always aspired to be a bank robber. Yeah, no, sorry, that doesn't work. The caveat is always, does this make me a better person? Does this improve my community? Obviously. But I know some of you are like, well, I want to jump out of an airplane and be like D.B. Cooper. No, you don't get to be D.B. Cooper. First of all, we're not even sure that D.B. Cooper got through it. However, I personally think D.B. Cooper completely survived that jump from a flight. And if you don't know what I'm talking about regarding D.B. Cooper, you need to go watch some old school Unsolved Mysteries, because there is an episode about this dude. It's pretty nuts, and I think there's a new documentary about it, and one of the guys they suspected of being D.B. Cooper just died. So he's actually kind of in the news right now. If you Google search it, you can find it. Super interesting story. But I don't think that aspiring to those sorts of things is what I'm talking about. We're talking specifically about the things that make you a better person. Dreams and hopes and wishes and apologies. So maybe I am tying it all in together. Not as rambly as I thought. Your apology is not the words you say. Your apology is the actions you do. If you make a mess, fix it. Clean it up. You know, I'm sure all of us, when we were kids, dumped a bucket of Legos on the floor. And we got about a 10-minute window to play with those Legos on the floor before some adult in our life came in the room and said, pick that up. Because every adult knows they don't want those in their feet or in their vacuum cleaner. But there was a certain joy in dropping the Legos and hearing that really unique plastic dropping sound of Legos and watching them scatter multicolored on the floor. Making the mess of it was kind of fun. But we had to pick it up. We had to fix it. Now, if you were like me, you probably took the Legos and started organizing them by color and by the number of pips, so that way you could better find the Legos you needed when you were attempting to build something. That's a whole nother podcast episode we don't have time for. Whether you're apologizing, or whether you have dreams or hopes or desires to become a better human, less talk, more do. Fix it. Clean it up. Make the change. I don't hold grudges in my life. I try not to anyway, especially with my students. If they make a mistake, next day's a new day. I don't think about the mistake they made the day before. Where that changes is if the behavior never gets better. So if you, as a human, make a mistake, and the next day's a fresh start, try again. But if you continue to make that same mess every day, over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a lot harder to forgive, because you are demonstrating your character and the things that you believe with the actions you chose to make. I don't know, maybe this makes no sense to anybody, but this is the way I approach my world. Stop apologizing to me. Just change the behavior.